My life isn't what I see on the news.
It's not a magazine ad.
Or a music video.
My life is unique.
I am learning who I am.
Where I stand.
How I fit in.
Real life is bigger than fantasy.
This is Real Life
Teens.
Teens.
Welcome to Real Life Teens. In today's episode, we're going to explore how peer pressure affects teens.
We'll show you how to defend yourself against negative peer pressure.
We'll see how pressure is everywhere and learn how to avoid it.
You'll learn the negative effects of giving into pressure.
We're going to give you tips and suggestions to help you identify peer pressure in your life.
Let's look at a real issue for teenagers, peer pressure.
How many teenagers have experienced peer pressure like this?
Well, you know what? I have a friend, and she was 20 pounds overweight, and like in 3 weeks, she lost like 15 pounds. And it's like not even a big deal. You just like take the pill.
For most teens, peer pressure is all about being accepted. It's subtle.
Peer pressure is just something inside of you. You just kind of want to be accepted. It's not so much people going, oh, just do it, you have to do it. But it's more like, well, I want to fit in with these people. My friends are doing it, so maybe I should do it too.
It's more like subtle. It's more like, you know, do it with us, kick back with us, be like us, you know? I mean, it's not like somebody's going to force you to do it.
When we're unsure of ourselves, we're most vulnerable to peer pressure.
And some people are really insecure and weak about their self-esteem, and they just kind of go along with it because everybody else is doing it.
Saying no can be an obvious solution.
If they're telling you to do this and that, and you really don't want to, you'll just have to like put it straight with them and tell them no.
But with close friends, this can be difficult.
Every little thing, you have to make sure your friends agree.
This program is all about who is in control of your decisions, you or your peers.
You take control. If those people don't accept you for who you are, then you don't need to be there anyway. You won't even be comfortable because you'll be doing something that you really don't want to do.
And learning to recognize different types of peer pressure, both negative and positive.
And he's like, oh, check out all this stuff I got. And he threw out like all this candy, and I'm like, whoa, man, where'd you get that? And he's like, I got it at the liquor store. And I was like, you said you didn't have any money. And he's like, oh, no, I you know, 5-finger discount and stuff. I talked him into actually taking the stuff back to the store.
A good place to begin is by defining the term peer pressure. Peer pressure can take a variety of forms, subtle to obvious. In this program, we're going to talk about peer pressure and its effects. We'll discover the difference between good and bad peer pressure. We'll talk about the negative effects of peer pressure, and we'll go over some good techniques for avoiding peer pressure and its negative effects. When the program's done, hopefully you'll have a good idea how you'll deal with peer pressure in your life. Others can pressure you to fit in with the clothes you wear, and the way you behave, and the things you do. And like it or not, having others accept us is important to almost everyone.
I think what I choose to wear and what I choose to say and who I hang out with, what I'm going to do over the weekend with who, and I think that's all has to do with peer pressure.
I mean, I look around school and you see people with brand names and it's like, God, you know, I want to dress like that. Because most of those people are popular and it's like, maybe if I dress like that, I'd be popular.
But peer pressure can be bad when it confuses you, makes you unsure of your actions, or forces you to behave in a manner which isn't in your best interest.
When they're going to do something that it could be anything. It could be like going to a party or something like that, and you feel uncomfortable about it, and so then they like give you a hard time about it.
I know a lot of people that wouldn't be doing stuff that they're doing if their friends didn't influence them to do it.
Drug or alcohol abuse, getting involved with destructive gangs, sex when you're not ready, these are negative results of peer pressure. But you know what? You can resist peer pressure and make the right choices for your life.
It's really hard to find a balance where you're not going to be labeled something, because I think, especially in your high school years, that's something people do a lot. They like to put you in a certain slot so they can see who you are that way.
Like people that are like more popular, they want to stay popular and they want other people to recognize them as being popular.
Pressure can come from all sides. but you still don't have to give in and do the things that aren't good for you. You can still be the person you want to be, even if everyone around you is pressuring against it.
I think people want to know that you stand for something. They want to know that you have your own opinions and that you're not going to go somewhere with them and then like try to act just like them or try to like the things they like. They want to know who you are. And usually meeting someone new, you'll learn things about them that you would enjoy too. It gives you more experience with things. It gives you wider knowledge and intelligence.
I usually like sit there and I think it out. Okay, do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? Do I want to do this? Is it really worth it? Is it worth the risk? And if it's not worth it, okay, I'll just ignore the pressure. I won't do anything about it. I'll ignore the person.
I like to tell myself I don't think their opinion is important because I know it shouldn't be, but I think a lot of the time it is.
Did you ever notice that you're likely to behave one way in front of your friends and quite another way in front of your parents?
Again, it goes with the people that you surround yourself with, because they influence you and how you act.
Certain groups you belong to probably expect you to behave one way, and other groups another.
I haven't seen kids really get peer pressured into drugs as like they always show it and stuff. I mean, it's more just like a suggestion. And some people are really insecure and weak about their self-esteem, and they just kind of go along with it because everybody else is doing it.
In fact, when you think about it, almost everywhere you turn, people are pressuring you to behave in a certain way. Sometimes this pressure can be very negative and make you feel as if you have to do things that go against your better judgment.
Sometimes you feel like you can't make friends with a certain person that you'd like to just because they belong in a separate place in the school, in their eyes or in your eyes or in everyone else's eyes.
What are some of the common sources of pressure in your life? Your best friends, your classmates, the group or clique you belong to, your teachers, your family, your neighborhood, TV, radio, magazines, the movies. Some of these pressures are direct one-on-one pressures. Some of them are indirect.
Seriously, I took one this morning and like I feel great.
You guys should seriously be careful. Those things.
Here, it's a sample. It's not a big deal.
I've never had someone come up to me and ask me to do something, but I am surrounded by it.
Realize the many directions that pressure can come from, and also realize that good or bad pressure can come from any one of these sources. For the most part, pressure from your peers is likely to be the toughest and most influential pressure in your life, and they can pressure you in many different ways.
I have so many friends who started smoking just because if you have one cool person, that's a way into a group. And if they say, here, let's go have a smoke across the street or something. If you're so intimidated by them, you'll do it anyway.
Take some time to make a list and then circle the ones you've experienced.
So I hang out with people that they're like the partiers. They drink all the time, and you know, it's like a Friday night and we're all pulling in just to get gas and we don't know what we're gonna do, and everyone's like, hey, come to the party, da 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 da.
Exactly are we meeting Zach at? I feel like
We're gonna meet Zach here. You guys, are you ready for tonight?
yeah,
I am like so ready to go to this party. There's gonna be so many people there. Hey, everybody out, we're here. All right. Be here anytime. Not something I ever would care to do.
Pressure is a way of life for most of us. If a friend tells you over and over that you should try out for the track team, that can be considered pressure. If a friend tells you that you should see a particular movie because everyone else has, that's pressure. Pressure happens when someone's trying to get you to do something, directly or indirectly. But how do we know if peer pressure is good or bad?
I've seen a lot of people get into things that you know they don't want to be involved with.
Actually, my friends are really cool about that. They don't pressure me to do a lot of things that I don't want to do, and if they do, I tell them no, and they respect that.
Generally, if someone else is pressuring you to do something that is wrong for you, that's bad peer pressure. And if someone is pressuring you to do something that's right for you, that's good peer pressure. The trick is to decide ahead of time what is right and what is wrong for you. This is called determining what your personal values are.
My friends do wrong things and I know it.
I've always really felt strongly that what I believe is very, very important and I need to stand up for it. And so I guess the most pressure I get is from myself.
Pretending to be someone you're not more or less makes you what you want to be, but I think eventually people will find out who you are and then they'll like you even less. I know there are people out there that pretend to be someone they're not, and because of that they're popular or they have a lot of friends or they're doing something maybe you want to do, but I don't think they're really happy with themselves, and I don't think that's going to last long.
To be popular, it seems like you kind of have to, manipulate people.
What does give in mean? Well, in the case of giving in to negative peer pressure, it means you've compromised your values. How does it affect you when you compromise your values? People may give in to peer pressure for any number of reasons. In order to make or keep friends, to feel like they belong, to try and raise their self-esteem, to make themselves feel more mature or independent. Usually, there are ways to get these results without giving in to negative peer pressure.
The more I act towards things I like and the more I go for them, people respect me for that, for trying something that other people wouldn't do, or going out for something that other people wouldn't even try. And it's really worth it in the end, and you'll enjoy yourself more, and you will find friends that agree with you on things and who love you for who you are and not who you are trying to be.
Usually doing things the right way takes a little more work. In other words, you can get the respect you want from others and yourself, feel like you belong, feel mature and independent, and still do what's right for you. Giving in to negative peer pressure just means that you couldn't find, or didn't take the time, to find the right way to go about it.
Those people are going to come and go, and they're going to be them for the rest of their lives, and that's their life, and it's not anybody else's. So I don't understand why they would let other people come into their life and screw it up for them.
Most of the resistance that your friends have to you being different is just based on their own insecurities. If they drink alcohol and you refuse to, it would probably make them feel insecure, scared, and out of place. Go ahead and let them be uncomfortable if you don't want to give in to peer pressure. When you stand up for yourself, chances are that they will respect you and may even decide to resist peer pressure as well.
They know that I have strong beliefs and that, they're not going to be able just to coerce me into doing something that I don't want to do, and they're fine with that.
I think finding what you're comfortable with is the best solution.
Just to stand up for what they think. I know they hear that all the time, and counselors tell you that, and parents do and stuff, but later on you're going to look back at your life and you're going to wonder why you didn't stand up for what you believe, and I don't understand how anybody would want to compromise their integrity.
Making your own decisions means you're taking a harder path at first, but in the end, it's the one that's going to move you toward success, happiness, and self-respect.
I have morals and standards, and I do what I want to, and I know what's right and wrong, and whether I cross the line or not, that's my choice. And of course, I'm not going to cross the line.
There's always people out there that are the same as you. If you look hard enough, there are people who have the same beliefs as you, and they won't try to pressure you into doing something, that you don't want to do, because they too don't agree with it. So
be yourself. And if they don't accept you for who you are, then
then they're not worth it.
I would tell them to be strong and make their own decision. If they wanted to find a new group of friends because they didn't feel the friends they had were supportive enough of their decision, then I would support that and say, yeah, go ahead and do that.
Learning how to resist peer pressure and making your own decisions is going to help you for the rest of your life. Start resisting peer pressure and start making your own decisions right away.
If you have strong beliefs, then you need to stick by those. If you look hard enough, there are people who have the same beliefs as you, and they won't try to pressure you into doing something, that you don't want to do, because they too don't agree with it. So,
if you are facing peer pressure on a regular basis, it's time to find someone to talk to about your concerns. This can be a friend at school, but often it's also best to get the advice of an adult that you trust.
I think they should turn to a trusted adult, if not go to some counseling, or maybe even talk to their parents if they can really trust them.
A parent, a teacher, a coach, anyone who you feel is going to give you the attention and concern that you deserve.
I would talk to really trusted friends.
Yeah.
Or adults that you know from somewhere else, maybe like work or school. Well, even talking to teachers is hard, but if you have a really cool teacher, you might be able to do that.
Yeah, or even internet too.
Go to my friends and my brother. My brother's the biggest part of my life. He's my best friend, so I talk to him about everything.
I think when kids talk about their problems, they can get advice, first of all, and especially if it's a good person to talk to, then they're going to get good advice and they're not going to make stupid decisions. And also it helps emotionally that you're going through the same thing and to get the emotions out.
Peer pressure can be a tough issue, particularly if it's affecting your safety or happiness or your success at school. It's time to get some help and advice from someone who's been there. Remember, it's up to you to learn how to deal with pressure from others instead of just giving in. This is a skill you're going to use throughout your life, so you might as well learn it starting today. In this program, we talked about peer pressure and its effects. We discovered the difference between good and bad peer pressure. We talked about the negative effects of peer pressure. We looked at some unlikely places where you can experience peer pressure, places you may not have expected. And we went over some good techniques for avoiding peer pressure and its negative effects. You can resist peer pressure and make the right choices for life. Pressure can come from all sides, but you still don't have to give in and do things that aren't good for you. You still can be the person you want to be, even if everyone around you is pressuring against it. You can be in charge of your own life.
In today's episode, we talked about peer pressure and how it affects teens.
We showed you the negative effects of giving into pressure.
We showed you how to defend yourself against negative peer pressure.
We saw how pressure is everywhere and showed you how to avoid it.
Peer pressure is a real issue for teenagers. Thanks for watching.